listen closely. Something deep is stirring today, something ancient, something wounded, something ready to heal. On January 12th, as Venus in Capricorn forms an exact square with Chiron in Aries, a cosmic wound reopens, not to harm you, but to free you. This is not a gentle whisper from the universe. This is a confrontation. This is a reckoning. This is the moment when every unhealed part of your heart rises to the surface, demanding to be seen, felt, and finally released. Before we go deeper, leave a like and subscribe to stay aligned with these cosmic transmissions. And comment, "I am worthy of real love," to anchor this healing energy into your timeline. Because what unfolds today is not just astrology, it is initiation, it is transformation. It is the breaking open of your heart so love can finally enter the way it was always meant to. Take a breath. Feel the tension in your chest. You may have woken up today with an unexplainable heaviness, a strange ache, a memory surfacing from nowhere. This is not random. This is Venus squaring Chiron, the wounded healer, pulling every unresolved hurt around love, worth, and belonging straight to the forefront of your awareness. Venus governs love, beauty, relationships, self-worth, and desire. Chiron governs the wounds we carry, the pain we've learned to live with, the parts of ourselves we've convinced ourselves are unlovable. When these two collide in a square, a 90-degree angle of friction and tension, the universe forces a confrontation between what you desire and what you believe you deserve. Between the love you crave and the wounds that convince you it will never come. Between who you are becoming and the scars that tell you to stay small. This is the day when your deepest relationship wound cannot hide anymore. The wound that whispers, "You are too much, you are not enough, you will always be abandoned, you will always be rejected, you will never be chosen." Today, that wound speaks louder than it has in months, maybe years. And the universe is not doing this to torture you. It is doing this to heal you. Chiron in Aries activates wounds around identity, self-assertion, courage, and the right to exist as you are. Venus in Capricorn represents love that is built on structure, commitment, loyalty, and earned respect. When they square each other, the cosmic question becomes clear. Can you love yourself even when the world has made you feel unworthy? Can you choose yourself even when others have abandoned you? Can you stand in your truth even when your wounds scream that it is safer to hide? You may feel this as sudden insecurity rising without warning. You may feel triggered by something small, a comment, a look, a silence that shouldn't hurt, but does. You may feel old memories flooding back, moments when you were rejected, dismissed, overlooked, or made to feel like your love was too much or not the right kind. These feelings are not punishments. They are breadcrumbs. They are showing you exactly where healing needs to happen. The universe does not reopen wounds randomly. It reopens them when you are finally strong enough to close them for good. January 12th marks the moment when the illusion of your unworthiness begins to shatter. You have been carrying a story, a belief, a wound that told you love had conditions, that you had to earn it, perform for it, shrink for it, prove yourself worthy of it. That story was never true. It was a scar left by someone else's limitations, someone else's inability to see you, someone else's fear. And today, Venus squaring Chiron forces that false narrative into the light so you can see it for what it is. A lie, a projection, a wound that was never yours to carry. This is the forbidden love portal because it asks you to do something terrifying. To love yourself in the exact places you were told you were unlovable. To choose yourself in the exact ways you were told you were too difficult. To stand in your worth even when the evidence around you has suggested otherwise. This is not soft healing. This is confrontational healing. This is the kind of healing that makes you uncomfortable because it requires you to stop hiding from your pain and start facing it head on. You may notice patterns surfacing today. The same relationship dynamic repeating, the same fear of vulnerability rising, the same hesitation to express what you truly want. These are not accidents. These are Chiron's way of saying, this is the wound, this is the pattern, this is what needs to change. And Venus is saying, you are worthy of love that does not require you to betray yourself. You are worthy of relationships that honor your truth. You are worthy of being chosen without having to chase, convince, or diminish who you are. The square between Venus and Chiron creates tension that cannot be ignored. You may feel emotionally raw, hypersensitive, or on edge. You may find yourself replaying conversations, questioning intentions, or feeling a wave of sadness you cannot name. This is your heart breaking open, not breaking down. Breaking open, because healing does not happen in comfort. It happens in the cracks. It happens when the pain becomes too loud to ignore and you finally decide to listen. If you have been avoiding a conversation, avoiding a truth, avoiding the deeper work required to heal your relationship with love, today will not let you run anymore. Today will make you feel it. And that feeling, as uncomfortable as it is the doorway to freedom. Chiron's wound around identity and self-worth is particularly activated today because Chiron is in Aries, the sign of the self, the warrior, the pioneer. Aries' energy is about courage, assertion, and claiming your right to exist unapologetically. But when Chiron sits in Aries, it creates a wound around the very act of being yourself. A wound that says, when I show up as I am, I get hurt. When I express my needs, I get rejected. When I stand in my truth, I'm abandoned. This wound may have formed early in life. Perhaps you were punished for being too loud, too emotional, too different. Perhaps you learned that love was conditional on you being smaller, quieter, easier to manage. Perhaps you were taught that your desires were selfish, your anger was unacceptable, your authenticity was too much. And so you learned to hide, you learned to perform, you learned to shape yourself into what others needed you to be. And in doing so, you abandoned yourself. Venus squaring Chiron today brings that abandonment into sharp focus. It asks, how many times have you betrayed your own needs to keep someone else comfortable? How many times have you dimmed your light to make someone else feel safe? How many times have you convinced yourself that being chosen was more important than being authentic? And here is the cosmic truth Venus is delivering today. Real love does not require you to be less. Real love does not ask you to hide your fire. Real love does not punish you for having needs, boundaries, or desires. Real love sees you, all of you, and chooses you anyway. Today, the universe is giving you permission to stop performing for love, to stop earning it, to stop convincing yourself that if you just do enough, give enough, bend enough, you will finally be worthy. You are already worthy. You have always been worthy. And the wound that told you otherwise is finally ready to be released. You may feel a sudden urge to speak your truth today, to set a boundary you have been avoiding, to walk away from a dynamic that drains you. That urge is not impulsive. It is Chiron healing. It is your soul reclaiming its right to be seen, heard, and valued. And even if that truth creates discomfort, even if it disrupts the false peace you have been maintaining, it is necessary. Because you cannot heal in silence, you cannot grow in hiding. You cannot transform without disrupting what no longer serves you. Venus in Capricorn wants love that is real, solid, built on integrity and mutual respect. It does not want fantasy. It does not want surface-level connection. It does not want relationships held together by fear, obligation, or the need to prove yourself. And when Venus squares Chiron, it reveals every place where your relationships are built on those shaky foundations, where you are giving more than you receive, where you are tolerating behavior that dishonors you, where you are staying out of fear rather than love. This revelation may sting, it may bring tears, it may bring anger, but it also brings clarity. And clarity is the first step toward real change. The healing portal that opens today is not soft and gentle. It is raw, honest, and uncompromising. It requires you to look at the truth of your relationships, the truth of your self-worth, and the truth of the patterns you have been repeating. It requires you to admit where you have been complicit in your own heartbreak, where you have chosen people who could not meet you, where you have stayed in situations that required you to shrink, where you have convinced yourself that crumbs were enough. This is not about blaming yourself. This is about taking your power back. Because the moment you see the pattern, the moment you name the wound, the moment you admit the truth, you can change it. You can choose differently. You can walk away from what does not honor you. You can set boundaries that protect your peace. You can stop chasing people who are not ready to see you. You can finally choose yourself. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, you may experience emotional breakthroughs, sudden realizations, or conversations that shift everything. Someone may reveal their true intentions. You may see a relationship for what it truly is. You may feel compelled to express something you have been holding back for months. These moments are not disruptions. They are alignments. They are the universe clearing space for the love that is meant for you by removing the love that was never aligned. If you have been waiting for a sign to leave, to speak up, to set a boundary, to choose yourself, this is it. Venus, wearing Chiron, is the cosmic permission slip you have been waiting for. It is the universe saying, you do not need to stay where you are not valued. You do not need to tolerate less than you deserve. You do not need to keep proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to demand more. You are allowed to believe that real love, aligned love, soul-deep love, exists for you. And it does. But first, you must heal the wound that convinced you otherwise. The wound that says you are not enough. The wound that says love always hurts. The wound that says you will always be abandoned. That wound is rising today, not to confirm its truth, but to be dismantled, to be seen for the lie it is. To be released so you can finally step into the love story you were always meant to live. This is the moment when your healing becomes visible, when the internal work you have been doing finally shows up in your external reality, when the boundaries you set start changing your relationships, when the truth you speak starts attracting people who can handle it, when the love you choose for yourself becomes the love others are allowed to offer you. This shift does not happen overnight, but it begins today. With one choice, one boundary, one truth, one moment of choosing yourself over the comfort of staying small. You may feel afraid. You may feel uncertain. You may feel like walking away, speaking up, or setting boundaries will cost you the relationship. And here is the truth. If honoring yourself cost you the relationship was never honoring you. Real love does not punish authenticity. Real love does not require silence. Real love does not demand that you abandon yourself to keep the peace. Real love meets you in your truth. And if someone cannot meet you there, they were never meant to stay. As you move through today, pay attention to what surfaces, the memories, the emotions, the realizations. These are not random. These are Chiron showing you where healing is needed. And Venus is showing you what love looks like when it is real, when it is aligned, when it honors who you truly are. This is not easy work, but it is necessary work, and you are ready. You would not be feeling this if you were not ready. You would not be confronting this wound if your soul did not know it was time to heal. What makes today especially powerful is that Venus in Capricorn carries a specific frequency. Capricorn does not play games. It does not tolerate illusions. It demands reality, structure, and integrity. When Venus moves through Capricorn, love becomes serious. Relationships become tested. The question shifts from, does this feel good, to, does this build something real? And when that Capricorn energy squares Chiron in Aries, the wound around identity and self-assertion, the cosmic confrontation becomes unavoidable. You cannot build a real relationship on a foundation of unworthiness. You cannot create lasting love while betraying your authentic self. You cannot expect someone to honor you if you do not honor yourself first. This is why the square feels so intense, because it is asking you to reconcile two seemingly opposing truths. Chiron in Aries says, I was wounded when I showed up as myself. Venus in Capricorn says, real love requires you to show up as yourself anyway. The tension between these two energies is where the healing happens. It is where you learn that past rejection does not define future possibility. It is where you understand that your wound does not make you unlovable, it makes you human. It is where you realize that the people who hurt you were not capable of the love you deserved. And that does not mean love itself is unavailable. There is a deeper layer to this transit that many will overlook. Venus square Chiron does not just reveal wounds, it reveals patterns. The same type of person keeps appearing in your life. The same emotional dynamic keeps repeating. The same fear keeps surfacing in different relationships. And today the universe is asking, when will you see the pattern? When will you recognize that the common thread in all these experiences is not bad luck, not coincidence, but unhealed wounding attracting situations that mirror that wound back to you? This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You did not create the wound. Someone else wounded you, but you are the only one who can heal it. And healing does not mean forgetting what happened. Healing does not mean pretending it did not hurt. Healing means integrating the pain, learning the lesson, and refusing to let that wound dictate your future. Healing means recognizing when you are repeating a pattern and choosing differently. Healing means setting boundaries with people who cannot meet your needs, instead of convincing yourself you are asking for too much. Today you may notice where you have been settling, where you have been accepting breadcrumbs and calling it a meal, where you have been tolerating disrespect and calling it love, where you have been shrinking yourself and calling it compromise. Venus in Capricorn will not let you lie to yourself anymore. It will show you the gap between what you say you want and what you actually accept. And that gap, that uncomfortable space between desire and reality, is where your healing work lives. Chiron does not heal quickly. Chiron does not heal easily. Chiron heals through awareness, through acknowledgement, through the willingness to sit with discomfort and not run from it. And Venus squaring Chiron today is forcing you to sit with the discomfort, to feel the wound fully, to stop numbing it, avoiding it, or covering it up with distractions. Because the only way out is through. The only way to stop the pattern is to face it. The only way to attract different is to become different. And here is what the universe wants you to know. You are not broken. Your capacity to love has not been destroyed. Your worth has not diminished because someone failed to see it. You are not damaged goods. You are not too much. You are not unlovable. You are healing. You are evolving. You are waking up to the truth of who you are beneath the wounds. And that truth is powerful. That truth is worthy. That truth deserves love that matches its depth, its authenticity, its courage. The next few days will bring opportunities for you to practice choosing yourself. Someone may test your boundaries. Someone may trigger your wound. Someone may try to pull you back into old patterns. And your response to those moments will determine whether you break the cycle or repeat it. This is not about being perfect. This is about being aware. It is about noticing when the old wound rises and choosing a new response. It is about setting the boundary even when it feels uncomfortable. It is about walking away even when loneliness feels scarier than staying. It is about trusting that choosing yourself is never the wrong choice. Venus square Chiron also impacts how you perceive your own value, not just in relationships but in all areas where Venus has influence. Your creativity, your finances, your sense of beauty, your self-esteem. Today you may feel less than. You may compare yourself to others and feel like you do not measure up. You may look in the mirror and see flaws instead of beauty. You may question your talents, your worthiness of success, your right to take up space. These are all manifestations of the Chiron wound, the wound that says, I am not enough. But Capricorn energy offers a remedy. Capricorn does not care about comparison. Capricorn cares about foundation. Capricorn asks, what are you building? What are you committed to? What are you willing to work for? And when Venus moves through Capricorn, it asks the same questions about love and worth. Are you building self-worth on the opinions of others or on your own integrity? Are you committed to your healing or just wishing the pain away? Are you willing to do the work required to attract the love you say you want? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where healing stops being a concept and starts being a practice. And the practice is simple but not easy. Choose yourself. Honor your needs. Set boundaries. Speak your truth. Walk away from what diminishes you. Invest in what elevates you. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to start living authentically. The moment is now. The portal is open. The healing has begun. One of the most profound aspects of this transit is its invitation to redefine what love means to you. Perhaps you were taught that love is sacrifice, that love is suffering, that love is enduring mistreatment for the sake of loyalty, that love requires you to lose yourself. Venus squaring Chiron today says, those definitions are wounds, not truths. Real love does not ask you to suffer. Real love does not demand self-abandonment. Real love does not punish you for having needs. Real love is mutual. Real love is respectful. Real love honors your wholeness. And if the love you have been accepting does not match that definition, it is time to let it go, not with bitterness, not with blame, but with clarity, with the understanding that some people enter your life to teach you what you do not want, to show you where your boundaries need to be, to mirror back the parts of yourself that still need healing. And once the lesson is learned, the relationship has served its purpose. Holding on past that point is not loyalty. It is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear that no one else will want you. But those fears are the wound speaking. And today, the wound does not get to make the decisions anymore. Today, you reclaim your authority over your own heart. You decide what you will and will not accept. You decide what love looks like. You decide who gets access to your energy. You decide when enough is enough. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect. This is emotional sovereignty. This is you finally understanding that protecting your peace is not selfish, it is sacred. The forbidden love portal is open. The wound is visible. The healing has begun. And on the other side of this discomfort, this confrontation, this breaking open, is a version of you who knows their worth, who trusts their value, who no longer settles for love that requires them to hide. A version of you who attracts relationships that celebrate them, honor them, and choose them without hesitation. A version of you who finally understands that they were never unworthy. They were just surrounded by people who could not see. Today, you see yourself, and that changes everything. The universe has opened this portal not to hurt you, but to free you. Not to remind you of past pain, but to release you from it. Not to prove you are unlovable, but to show you that you have always been worthy of the love you seek. The question is not whether that love exists. The question is whether you are ready to stop accepting anything less. Whether you are ready to set the boundaries that protect it. Whether you are ready to do the healing work that attracts it. Whether you are ready to believe, truly believe, that you deserve it. If this message resonated with your soul, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. I am worthy of real love. Your healing is not imagined. Your transformation is real, and the love you deserve is already on its way. You are stepping into a new timeline, a healed timeline, a timeline where your worth is not negotiable, and it begins right now.